Just trying to survive and learn to love along the way. By Foreplay on AO3. Episode 75, Chapter 75 of Bad Dreams and a Rumpled Uniform. Izuku is hot. He shifts a little, trying to get away from it, but he can't move. Izuku is completely trapped. He can't help but panic a little, especially when a hand grabs his arm. The grip doesn't hurt, but it's sudden and causes him to cry out. Izuku, you're okay. Just open your eyes. What is his dad doing here? Where is here? Izuku opens his eyes and finds himself in his dad's apartment. He's on the couch, all tangled up in blankets, and Toothless and Radio perched by his feet. He still feels trapped. Izuku tries to maneuver his way out of the blankets, but they're really twisted up, and he's probably making it worse. He gets a little more frantic, still stuck in his nightmare. Izuku, stop. I'll help you. His dad freezes his arm and barely dodges Izuku's flying limbs as he shoves the rest of the blanket off. His dad just watches with a worried look. Now free, he realizes how concerning his reaction was. Izuku shoves himself to the corner of the couch and takes a deep breath, gripping his shirt with his hands, just so they have something to do. Are you okay, Izuku? His dad sits on the couch, leaving a bit of distance between them. He shrugs his shoulders and looks away when his dad frowns. Was it a nightmare? He nods this time, still looking away. Did you want to talk about it? Whenever I have one, I talk through with Hizashi, and it helps me. Izuku's first instinct is to refuse, but his dad opened up so easily to him, and Izuku knows that he won't be judged or pitied or anything that tells him. Besides, if talking helps his dad, it might help him as well. It was about the exam. He keeps his gaze on the wall, unwilling to see his dad's expression. Lately, my nightmares have been awful. I get these weird combinations of all the stuff that's been going on recently, and last night was no exception. Izuku goes silent for a while, trying to find the right words. His dad doesn't push him to continue. So, last night, Stain was at the exam. He used this quirk, so I was paralyzed. Stuck there watching everything that happened. I couldn't use my quirk, so she shot you. All I could do was watch. Izuku buried his face in his hands, trying to will away the tears. It doesn't work. Shit, Izuku. Does this happen a lot? His dad inches over closer to him on the couch, but doesn't make contact. He looks up from his hands and nods. His dad opens his arms, and Izuku can't hold himself back anymore. His dad hugs him close to his chest, and Izuku focuses on the feeling of his heartbeat beneath his chest. When Izuku finally pulls away, it's not very far, and his dad keeps an arm around his shoulders. So, how was the meeting yesterday? He's not subtle at all in changing the subject, but his dad doesn't comment on it. How about we have some breakfast first? It smells like Sashi is done cooking. Izuku nods and follows his dad to the table. They're all silent during the meal, not even his dad's banter going today. The lack of noise makes Izuku eat that much faster. It's not long before they're all done with the meal and setting back onto the couch. So, what did Gran Torino said? Whatever's happening to you never happened before. Izuku can't help his disappointing scowl. So, he doesn't know then. He agrees with our idea that you're gaining access to previous users' quirks. Since it's never happened before, we have no idea how quickly you'll be figuring these out. Considering I used 2 new ones at once, it could be pretty quickly, right? Exactly, problem child. We have to train with each of these quirks as they appear. At least for Blackwhip, you have your capture scarf training to fall back on. How do we explain my new quirks? His dad looked resigned when he answered him. I don't know. I want to tell Toshi and Shoto. They've been there for me from the start, and it's not fair that I'm keeping secrets. Kachan already knows, so I think that's a wonderful idea, listener. His dad thankfully interrupts his rambling. Izuku's sure he would have cut himself off a few words later, unsure of what to say next. I agree. They're good, trustworthy kids. It'll definitely help you to have more people who know. He's relieved that both of his dads are on board. We'll just have to keep that a secret from All Might, so your friends can't get mad at him no matter how upset they are. His dad's words surprise him a little. Why do you think they'll get mad? Izuku, baby, All Might is basically the reason you got kidnapped. Your friends were close to going after you themselves. I'm honestly surprised they didn't. Oh, that's true. And Toshi already doesn't like him for what he did at the exam. Kid, anyone who knows what he did is pissed about that. So every single teacher, Midnight almost killed him. His dad smiles, and Izuku knows that it has to do with All Might almost being murdered. Alright. I should make sure that the demons aren't killing each other. Any of you coming? His dad stands up and stretches. Absolutely not, but let me know if you need any backup, love. He stands up and gives his dad a kiss on the cheek before heading to the kitchen to clean up for breakfast. Izuku decides to head downstairs. He makes it halfway to the door, before nearly dying when Radio stops in front of him and meows for attention. So Izuku scoops her up and carries her out of the room. His dad is waiting in the elevator, holding the door open for him. He raises a brow at the cat in his arms, but doesn't say a word about it. Izuku gets off his floor. He should probably change out of yesterday's uniform, and into something more suited for a lazy Saturday at the dorms. He makes it about halfway to his room, but he pauses when he spots someone in front of his door. It's Toshi, his friend, knocking on his door. Toshi, morning. His friend jumps when he speaks up behind him. Have you had breakfast? I got worried when you didn't come down. Izuku smiles. He loves how much Toshi cares about him. Yeah, I ate with my dad's. Do you want to hang out today? Of course. Toshi steps aside so Izuku can unlock his room. His friend follows him in, and Izuku drops Radio onto the bed as soon as the door is shut. It's not that he thinks she'll run off, but he knows that if somebody sees his cat, then the whole class will show up to pet her. Hitoshi carefully averts his eyes when Izuku changes, and sits close when they pick a movie to watch. Izuku doesn't really care what they choose, as long as he gets to hang out with his friend. So he picks the first film that Toshi suggests, and leans close as the opening begins. Okay. Well, we got an extra. I knew that it was going to be Izuku has a bad dream than the talk about Izuku's quirk. I just didn't think we were going to have some Shindeku at the end there. That's a pleasant surprise. I like that. I like, yes, there's Shindeku, Space Cat. By the way, I'm gonna call for viewers out there. I've been doing this a lot. I record in calls now. Specifically, I record in calls with Space Cat and Sunny, except Sunny's not here because, unfortunately, Sunny is working. Because apparently adulting means you gotta work, which reminds me, I got an interview. Yeah. Okay, so, Shindeku, super cute, super nice. I love that. Chapter 76 is of picnics and a cake. Are we gonna get more Shindeku? Summary. Izuku and Hitoshi spends some time on campus away from the dorms and encounter a few new surprises. Are we gonna have... Okay, notes. Hey, welcome back. This was a fun chapter to write. There aren't any warnings for this chapter either, other than the mention of abuse a bit later. Oh my god! Are we gonna have a fluffy chapter after so many goddamn horrid or not horrid as in like bad chapters, but like angsty chapters. So is this a fluffy chapter? Hold up, I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna read the first thing I see, okay? The first thing I see is what I'm gonna read. He takes a bite of food to excuse his silence, but he can't let it go on forever. Oh, I read the next part. Oh god, it's a really fluffy chapter. Okay, anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.